I'm going to reshare my screen. Okay. So I should probably go backwards here real quick and explain to you what we're looking at. Okay. So in addition to ClickMill, we use another website that we're building out for a lot of training. So we do write articles for ClickMill, as you know. I think you've done one. We also have a website called myhawaiianadventure.com that we've been working on for about 3 months. And obviously we live in Oahu. And our goal is to have a tourism-based website that is capable of basically generating a lot of funds to support Christian education of youth out here in Hawaii, but not just Christian education, also like job skills and like a lot of different things. And there's a lot of Christian organizations that do that out here, but the funding is the difficult part. I used to actually work with one with the Salvation Army. I am familiar with a number of them and have access to people that have access to a lot of them. So what we're doing is we're creating a tourism website based on content. We have lots of articles, and we are testing a lot of SEO stuff on here as we have time available and as we have interns to see what will bring in people. And the goal is to have 10,000 hits a month in the first 6 months. And it appears we're on track for that, maybe more. And so to this end, this is a tourism website, and we want to sell services. We want to make deals with other organizations here locally, where if we sell their services, and there are a lot of them, then they'll give us a cut of the profits. And then a chunk of all that income will go to, working with these youth out here in Hawaii, local Polynesian kids, specifically that audience, because a lot of the Polynesian communities are very impoverished, especially like Micronesian, Chukis, Yapis, a lot of Samoans. And so there's a lot of poverty amongst those. I'm even familiar with one middle school, which would be like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, that has a 7% graduation rate. I mean, it's really, really low. There's also, anyway, so to that end, there are camps, there are different organizations out here that work with these kids and give them education, but also give them Christian education and Christian worldview and those types of things. So we want to be funding those and enabling those just to reach the lost and future generations out here. So as it turns out, this industry is fairly easy to compete in compared to marketing industries. So we're creating a website. We also own a fleet of vehicles out here. I don't know if I've told you that. Have I told you we own a vehicle rental company as well?
No.
Okay. So we own, we'll just go to this page. I'll show you some of these. So we rent out camper vans. They've got beds and sinks, and people rent them when they come out here, and they can go tour the island and basically get their bed and their wheels in the same place instead of paying for a hotel and a rental car. It's all kind of in the same place. And it's really people who like hiking and surfing and snorkeling and doing a lot of the outdoor things usually really love this. So this is one of the ways that we're monetizing the website. We're also going to be adding, as you can see, we're working on this: surfboards, paddleboards, snorkel gear, kayaks. And then in addition to this, with the blog, and this is how we're driving traffic, you can see, like, for example, things to do for couples. And then we'll have links out to the best things that couples can do. And as we send traffic out to those organizations, we'll call them if there's a lot of traffic we're sending and say, hey, we know we're selling a lot of your services, and we would love to continue sending you traffic. What kind of percentages can we talk about to send over more traffic? And that's another way to monetize. So this is basically a fancy travel blog, and it's already got enough articles in it to bring in traffic. Google is still growing with this website because it's so new. Usually search engine optimization, which is optimizing our website to work well with Google, usually that is a long-term strategy and ads is a short-term strategy. So if you turn on advertising and you have the system set up, you can make sales tomorrow or get leads. Whereas with SEO and content, usually it's going to take you 12 to 18 months to start seeing a lot of traction. And if you're really good, you could do it in 6 months. And so we have a 10,000 hit per month in 6 months. And to give you an idea, right now, ClickMill gets about 8,000 hits a month, and the website's about 5 years old. So we're going for super speed, and it is growing quite rapidly. We're on par right now, coming into month 3, about 600 hits a month. And the way these websites grow is exponential. So we went from, 400 hits a month, 300 hits a month to 600 hits a month in the course of like 2 weeks. So it's growing very rapidly, and we're excited. So this is this website. So we're going to create a piece of content for this website because as it stands, I don't have any that we need to make for, or I feel like I'm absolutely need to make for ClickMill. And so this is where I take my extra energy. Anyway, any questions about that so far?
No, that looks really good.
Awesome. Yeah. So one of the things I'm passionate about, I'm very passionate about making systems, because when we talk about effectiveness, and this is my personal conviction, this is not to say this is the only right way to do things, but my goal is to make as much, what do I want to say? Create as much kingdom fruit as possible. And obviously I'm not in charge of the growth. God is in charge of the growth. But to that end, if I can make more me's, then there's more fruit in the kingdom. So for example, if I spend a lot of time with Sophie and Sophie knows everything I know, and Sophie goes out and helps ministries grow, then there is twice as much fruit in the kingdom as there would be if I did it by myself in some dark room, which is what most marketers do. In the same way, if I have a marketing firm called ClickMill, and ClickMill is helping ministry leaders share the gospel, and then we turn around and we have a website that's a different system, and that system can fund Christian education companies, then that's more fruit. And so to the degree, who's Bonnie? Sorry, I'm getting lost. Oh, okay. Got it. So to the degree that I can create a system and work myself out of the system and then do another system, there are more me's creating fruit, or not more me's, more systems creating fruit for the kingdom. And so that's what I'm personally very passionate about. That's the way I feel convicted that I can make a difference personally. This thing will not stop ringing. And so that's what I'm doing. And that's also another reason for this website. So to that end, this is the keyword plan for this website. So you'll see that we've got the writers of the articles to organize everybody. This is our keyword plan. And this has a lot to do with search engine optimization, which we'll get into, which is very relevant to digital content creation, which I know is what you want to get into. That can also be web pages, depending on the types of page you're creating. Okay. And then what you do once you have the content, you boil it down and change the format, and then you take it to social media is usually the most efficient way to do that. So from the large piece of content comes all the small pieces of content. We'll go into that more later, but when we talk about creating content, it's a very time consuming, much less than it used to be, but it's still very time consuming. And what we want to do is we want to do it as efficiently as possible. And most people and most churches are extraordinarily inefficient. Everybody's creating different content and everybody's wasting a lot of time when we could have just created one piece and taken nuggets out of that and pushed them out to all of the other platforms. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, that does.
Awesome. Okay. So we've got the blog writer here to organize people. We have the focus keyword, which is the primary keyword that we are writing these articles to. So you'll see Waikiki kayak rental has 260 search volume per month. So there's 260 of those. It's actually just from the United States. Nonetheless, 260 a month. Keyword difficulty is 6, which is crazy low. If you remember, keywords out of 100, which is crazy to me. One of the most famous beaches in the world for a kayak rental has a 6 difficulty. And we have some reasons why we think that's the case. Nonetheless, we'll be the people to write an article on that, make a page on that, come in, take all the traffic, and either sell somebody else's kayak rentals and take a cut, or we'll just start our own kayak rental business and use that to fund ministries as well. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. And then you see kayak rental Waikiki has 70 and 3 difficulty. So you'll see we do have a place for a blog title and a URL. We don't really use those because we just make our own blog titles. We didn't end up using this bar. URL is always just the focus keyword. So that became so obvious. I don't think anybody ever filled it in. Ideas, I don't know that anybody has ever actually used that, and I don't really know where it came from. Destiny's thoughts while writing this. Okay, I don't really know what that's for. Oh, got it. Okay. So for example, this one needs to be a 7-day itinerary. The way that it's keyword targeted, it needs to be an itinerary. So to that end, we've got different, like, how do I say this? Sometimes people are looking for an image. Sometimes they're looking for a PDF. Sometimes they're looking for an article. Sometimes it's an ultimate guide. So when we find things on the internet and we're like, oh, this one really needs to be an ultimate guide for Google to like it and put it up #1, we might write that there. And then we are recording how long it takes to write and how long it takes to post. And that's also important, so that we can figure out how many, especially if we get a client that's like, I want 100 pieces of article a month, 100 pieces of content. Can we even, do that? Because do we have enough time with all of our people? And also, one of the things we do as well is if and when we do get large content orders, we just start paying interns who are good at it. We'll just start pushing work through to scale that. So just so you're aware of that as well. That's what happened to Michael, except he wasn't looking to pay us to do it. He was looking to hire. So we just threw Michael over at the other firm, and that's where he works now. So anyway, so this is our content strategy. Now, what I have instructed the team to do is look for the lowest keyword difficulty, because the website's domain authority is 0. It's a brand new website. It has no authority. Nobody's ever seen it. And we're trying to rank for as many keywords as we can as quickly as possible. And that means if have you looked into domain authority at all? Have we talked about that?
No, it was mentioned in a few of the videos that are in the playlist, but not in any depth.
Okay. Domain authority. Checker. Okay. So the authority of the domain, we're going to go to a site called Ahrefs, which is a good authority checker. Google basically assigns the site a trustworthiness score rating, and they apply it to the whole domain. So clickmail.co and all of the pages under it. And again, that's 1 out of 100, right? So 1 to 100. If the website is not authoritative because it's brand new, or maybe it's got a lot of spam, or whatever it is, they got slow loading time, they got all these issues, whatever they are, then you're going to have a low authority. And if your website is very authoritative, you'll have a very high authority. Okay. So we've got myhawaiianadventure.com. I'm never a human, and I don't really know why. I am a human. I've failed the humanity check, and then I do it again, and we always work. So you'll notice we have a 0 domain authority. This is also largely based on backlinks. So the number of websites linking to us is going to indicate how authoritative we are, okay, and trustworthy. So we'll go and we'll look at our backlinks. It looks like we've got some what do we got? Oh, okay, it's wanting me to buy its service. Got it. All right. So we're not going to do that. Anyway, I got a different tool where we can check this. But to that end, we've got some backlinks coming in for 3 months old. I don't know if 7 is good or not, but that's how we also grow authority. So we have 0 authority. What am I saying? I don't remember why I was telling you authority. Oh, right. So when we're looking at the keyword plan, we want to go after easy keywords because our website is not very competitive right now in regard to our domain authority. So it's sort of like if I had a domain authority of 30, I might go after keywords up to say 40. We have a domain authority of 0. So basically we're going to go after everything, but we're going to go from low keyword difficulty to highest. That way we're ranking for the lowest ones first, which hopefully as we rank top 5, top 10 for a lot of these lower ones, then we'll be able to start ranking for the higher ones. Okay. And I believe that's called something like a tiered search engine optimization theory. The idea that you rank for about 10, maybe a maximum of 10 difficulty higher than your website authority. So that's kind of the trust level that you're allowed to even rank for. So we could never rank for a 90 keyword difficulty because we're not even in the realm of possibility there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's pick one and we're going to go slingshot rental. I don't want to write about slingshots. Let's see. Waikiki map. I don't want to make a map. Foodland in Kailua. Why? This is just a grocery store. People are looking up grocery stores. Okay. Allure Waikiki. I don't know what that is. Okay, so what is it? Let's find out. We're going to take it over here. Aha. Allure Waikiki, Honolulu, Hawaii condos. Okay, so this is a condo building. Vacation rentals, condos for sale. I actually remember when they built this. I used to live down there. Okay. So don't really want to write about a vacation rental. Maybe someone else is passionate about that. There we go. How about this? Alaska cruise to Hawaii. Interesting. Oahu beach maps. I don't want to make a map. You can see some of these have been skipped because nobody wants to make a map. And frankly, I don't really know how I do that. We've been looking into some options, but Harley Davidson boutique. I don't want to write about Harley Davidsons. Let's see. Rabbit Island, Waterfall Island. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see what comes up here and see if it has to do with Oahu. So we're checking Google to see if this is even relevant. Okay, so the first thing we get is waterfall islands apparently are a thing in home design. So that's not a good start. Waterfall island design. Okay, so all of this. So you'll notice here, someone put a keyword in here that's not helpful. So all of these have to do with home designs on a thing called a waterfall island. So that's not helpful. But what if we go to Oahu, O-A-H-U? Aha. Okay. Waterfall Island, Oahu. Now let's see. 14 best waterfalls you shouldn't miss. Waterfalls in Oahu, waterfall hikes, best one. Okay. So Waterfall Island is not a thing. So that's a good thing we checked because I was looking for some island off the coast of Oahu that's called Waterfall Island that people want to go to because I've never heard of it. This is just bringing up searches on the best waterfalls. So I don't actually see anything called Waterfall Island. And what we're going to do is we're going to double check and see what we're looking for. Waterfall Island, Oahu, water, W-H, waterfall. Okay, there we go. Now, let's see here. Waterfalls on Oahu Island has 20 searches a month. So that's like nothing. Waterfall Island. Okay, so we know, yeah, Kitchen Island. See, Waterfall Island, Waterfall Kitchen Island, Waterfall Island Kitchen, Big Island Waterfalls. That's not bad. That's Big Island, Hawaii. So that's pretty interesting. 1926. Big Island Waterfalls. Wow. Okay, so we really have some Waterfall Big Island. Maybe that is a Big Kitchen Island. Kitchen. Oh, wait. No, where is that? Big Island. Okay. I don't know. That sounds like Hawaii if I've ever heard of it. Okay, let's check that. 6. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So this is Big Island, Oahu. And here we have the waterfalls on the island. Okay. So that is actually related to Hawaii. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this keyword. I'm not going to write about this one because we're only writing about Oahu right now, because we are trying to answer every single question about things to do on Oahu. And that is related to a subject called topical authority, which is even more powerful than your domain authority, which we talked about earlier. Topical authority is when Google recognizes your website as an authority because you basically answered every single question for a topic. Okay, so the websites we're competing with have between 93 and 750 articles on each. The biggest competitor in the space that we're working in has 750 articles. All of the websites talk about all 8 islands. We have over 100 articles, and we've only talked about Oahu because we are going to get topical authority for Oahu and blow them out of the water, at least for this island to start. When we get topical authority for everything on Oahu, then we're going to branch out strategically to the next islands. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so how do you know when you've got enough topical authority?
When we have over 10,000 hits a month or 100,000 hits a month. The smallest, so there's basically 5 competing websites. The smallest one has 93 blogs. We already have over 100 in a couple months. And they have 93 blogs and they get about 120,000 hits a month. We have more articles than them already, and we're shooting for 10,000. So 1/10 of that. So you can see we're being very conservative. We're shooting for 1/10 of that in 6 months. They got 121,000 hits a month in 9 months. It is very possible that we way exceed 10,000 hits a month. But to that end, how do we know when we get enough topical authority? When we have a fully functioning monetized website for Oahu and it's working and we're getting the results we want, which is basically money, then we will branch out to other islands and duplicate the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Big Island waterfalls, we're going to copy this. Yeah, basically the whole goal of this site is to make money so we can fund ministries. Whereas with ClickMill, it's education, it's training, it's preparing other people, preparing ministry leaders, and that's a little different. Offering services. This one is just income. Let's see here. We're going to get Big Island with 1926. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to update this because this is not good. Big Island waterfalls, 1926. There we go. So now someone else is not going to see that other one and write an article on something that doesn't matter. Okay. North Shore Oahu vacation rentals. Ooh, pumpkin patch. That's actually interesting. That's different. Let's look at that. Let's look at pumpkin patch on Oahu. Oops. Okay, so we've got 4 pumpkin patches. Cool. That is website worthy. All right, and we're coming around to the time of year when this is relevant, so let's get an article on this. So first thing I'm going to do, now we're actually starting the training, we had to find the right keyword first. And if you're writing on this site or writing on ClickMill, find the things you love writing about the most. We're practicing and may as well write about things that you like. So not particularly passionate about pumpkin patches, but it's at least different. Okay. So I'm going to show you, let's see here. You've been given access to ClickUp, correct?
No, I don't know what that is.
Ah, wonderful. Well, I'll have to give you access. So this is ClickUp. This is our team management software. And so these are the spaces. Internal tasks are where we keep all of our tasks within ClickMill. See if I can zoom in. I can't. Yes, I can. This is where we keep all of our ClickMill relevant tasks. Login information and passwords is where we keep passwords of softwares you can use and services we pay for. And then client work, this is where the actual client work happens. And so if you're building a client account or writing content for a client or building an ads account, building a web page, that's going to be in here. But right now, we're in login information and passwords. And you'll see, this is also where the Zoom meeting link is. What is the reason I just came in here? I need more coffee. Oh, right. Down here, we're going to come to our Chat GPT prompts for the Hawaii website. I need to change this because it's no longer, we named it. So now it's not Hawaii website. It's My Hawaiian Adventure. Anyway, but this is Chat GPT prompts for ClickMill. This is Chat GPT prompts for the Hawaii website. These are the best prompts that we have right now. We are always updating these. It looks like Josh is in here copying this as well as me. Okay, so I am going to take this right here, copy it, and I'm going to minimize, and I'm going to come back over to ChatGPT, and I'm going to paste this prompt. I'm going to make sure ChatGPT 4 is enabled. ChatGPT 4 is capable of outputting a lot more. Well, that's not even right. If you have like ChatGPT 3.5 is the free version, and it will remember a conversation up to like 5,000 words. So between its words and your words, all of a sudden it gets Alzheimer's and it has no idea what you're talking about. ChatGPT 4 has like a 25,000 character. Yeah, I don't really know. It's like 25,000 tokens. No, it's not even accurate. It's 5,000. I don't know. It has a longer memory of the conversation. I'm trying to remember and it's not coming to me. And so you can actually get a full blog out with this tool without it forgetting what you told it to do. Okay. And this is called prompt engineering. This is a brand new skill in the last year or so that's come out with AI. And Fortune 500 companies, for example, right now are hiring prompt engineers for like $300,000 a year because basically nobody knows how to do this. So there's tons of videos on Google on prompt engineering, but what we're doing is we're going to paste in this prompt and I'm going to break it down. Okay. So this is a weird thing to do because the AI is called a LLM, which is a large language model. Okay. And you don't need to remember that. It's not on the test. For anybody watching, we don't actually have tests. Anyway, this is a neural network like your brain. So it bounces ideas around inside this neural network, just like our neurons do. And so it comes up with unique things, different than it might do every other time, but it also is a computer, obviously. So it takes things very literally. So it's kind of an interesting mix of like almost talking to a person, but talking to a robot person. So it will take things very literally. It takes them in a very specific order, but it will sometimes interpret them differently. So kind of interesting. So when we talk to the chat bot here, we want to be very specific as to what we want, as clear as possible. It's basically coding in English. Okay. Make sure this isn't. Okay, good. It is essentially coding in English. So firstly, we want to prompt it. I'm going to tell it, I want you to take on the role of the world's best search engine optimization writer who speaks fluent English. That's important, especially if we ever have people from overseas who are writing. First, create two tables. Table 1 should be an outline of the article, and the second should be the article itself. Using markdown language. Okay, this is important. Words are what enable us to communicate. And I did not even know what markdown language was. Markdown language is the ability to put H2 code in the title so that the program knows it's supposed to be bigger. So it could just write it normally and say title, whatever the importance, whatever the title is, it can actually code into the title that it's a header to. And that's markdown language. It's the same thing with bold or italics, numbered lists, bulleted lists, all that is called markdown language. So using markdown language, write an outline of the article. I'm going to say using markdown language embedded in the text. Oh, well, see, this is already unclear. using markdown language embedded in the text, period. That's not a full sentence. I want to say use markdown language embedded in the text. Write an outline of the article separately before writing it with at least 15 headings and subheadings. Headings 1, 2, and 3. I'm telling it don't do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because there's up to heading 8, H8. The article should include creative title. That includes the focus key. Okay, see, I'm actually going to take this out because I don't really want it to write a title anymore. And this is going to simplify below. Okay, and I don't want it to write a meta description, which we'll go over later. Okay, so I'm actually going to take that out. Okay, start. Okay, so I'm going to say here, there we go, start. Okay, so start writing based on based on the, wow, I got some typos in here. I haven't actually looked at this in a while. Start writing based on the outline step. Write a 2,500 word, 100% unique, SEO optimized, human written article in English with at least 15 headings and some headings. And again, we specified here, and apparently we have header 1, 2, 3. I do not want header 4s. That covers the topic provided in the prompt, which is below. Use markdown language throughout table 2, which is the article itself. Write I'm going to say inject and see if that changes the output. Inject markdown language throughout the text in table 2. That way it knows I actually want it put in, not just say it, because sometimes it'll just say H2 and then the title, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, write the article in your own words rather than copying and pasting from other sources. So this is saying don't copyright. Consider, and now I'm telling it to write like a person, consider perplexity, burstiness, creating content, ensuring a high level of both without losing context or detail. So then it says, use an informal tone, write as personalized pronouns, use, keep it brief. I do not want him to keep it brief. Use an active voice, use idioms and interjections and dangling. So I'm telling it to talk like a person. End with a conclusion paragraph and 5 unique frequently asked questions after the conclusion paragraph. Frequently asked questions after. Okay, so this isn't really 100% clear. End with a conclusion paragraph. And then write 5 unique FAQs with answers. Sometimes it doesn't give answers, and that's probably why. With answers after the conclusion. Okay, I've got some random thing here. We're actually editing this. Oh, in your output, what is this? Okay. In your output, consider the targeted audience of our business, which is as follows. 35, they make this much money. They're married. They have a husband, but no children. They're adventurous, outgoing. These are people who like camper vans, like nature and hiking, and they're young and they want to get out. Their shopping behaviors, and it goes through some of their psychographics and shopping behaviors. Lastly, okay, barriers are high prices, poor reviews, and lack of information. Okay, please include these links within the text. This is the important part. Use the focus keyword, insert focus keyword at a 1% density, which means 1 out of every 100 words is the focus keyword, and incorporate LSI keywords or the additional keywords. Those are called semantically related keywords. And then you enter the string of those there at a 5% density each. Then use the focus keyword in the first sentence in the form of a question. That's the hook. Are you interested in hiking in Oahu? And that's the keyword, hiking in Oahu. If so, you're in the right place. So that's kind of the intro to the article. Now write an article on the focus keyword. Okay, so that is the prompt. Now, in this case, we're having it be an SEO writer. You can have it be anybody. You can have it be Einstein. You can have it be your grandma. It knows about your grandma, and it can essentially write about anything. Okay. So this, you wrote your first one by hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever used a tool like this?
No.
Okay. So this is going to blow your mind. We have you guys do the first one by hand because so you understand how much of an edge we're giving you with the new tools coming out, because it is nuts and it's only going to get faster from here. It used to take at least 15 hours to create a really good 2,000 word blog, including posting and writing and editing and, you know, all the stuff we had to do. Now you don't even have to edit because this doesn't really create typos. Okay. So let's go back over to our keyword plan and let's grab pumpkin patch on Oahu. And we're just going to start. So 590, 17, here we go. We're going to close that down, come back over, and we're going to say, insert focus keyword here. Okay, so is there actually more keywords? Pumpkin patch Oahu, O-A-H-U. Okay, let's see how this goes. See if there's any other keywords they didn't put in. Pumpkin patch on Oahu. That's great. That's what we did. Pumpkin patch Oahu and Oahu pumpkin patch. That makes sense. Okay, so we're going to take those and have it use those interchangeably. So we're going to use those as the LSIs, but we're using the highest search volume because they're all very easy to rank for. That's not what I'm looking for. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, there we go. And we're going to come over here and we're going to paste that in. That's it. Those are the only pumpkin patch related searches. And then we're going to come down here. I'm actually going to take out the link. I'm not going to worry about this right now. That hasn't been working quite the way I want. So we're just going to say use the focus keyword pumpkin patch Oahu at 1%, then use the other two, which are very essentially exactly the same. And then we're going to add that primary keyword to write the article. And we're going to hit go. Any questions on any of that before we do that?
No, I'm looking forward to see what comes.
Okay, so here we go. So we put the prompt in, and now it's writing. Okay, so it's now saying it knows its word count. It's never done that before, but it's saying it's going to shorten it to 500 words, not the requested 2,500. We'll see. It responds a little differently every time, but you can see here, it is giving us 15 headings. Discover the magic of a pumpkin patch on Oahu. Introduction. What is a pumpkin patch adventure? We want to review this to see if it has anything to do with what we're wanting to talk about. So what is a pumpkin patch adventure? Great. The allure of pumpkin patches on Oahu, top pumpkin patch destinations on Oahu. Okay, destination 1, destination 2. Okay, so it's only got 2. Planning your visit, what to bring, ideal times to visit, make your trip unforgettable, family-friendly activities, photography opportunities, extend your adventure, nearby attractions. Excellent. So now we're getting into more stuff they can do, which pulls them into the rest of the website. We got some calls to action there. Local cuisines to try, and maybe not. Conclusion, frequently asked questions. Awesome. So you'll notice they give us the conclusion paragraph like we asked, and we also have the frequently asked questions. Okay. Introduction, we're going to remove the actual word. It often says the quiet part out loud. We don't need to say introduction. We just need to write an introduction, but it does that. Maybe there's a way we could tell it, don't say the word introduction or conclusion in the article, because coming down here, it's going to say conclusion right there. So we could give it specific instructions not to do that. I haven't really crafted that yet. Anyway, ever wonder where to find a spectacular pumpkin patch on Oahu? This is your comprehensive guide to enjoying a remarkable adventure, catering to your adventurous spirit and love for unique experiences. All right, there we go. Why a pumpkin patch adventure? Okay, so here we go. The allure of pumpkin patches on Oahu. Hawaii, especially Oahu, has turned the pumpkin patch experience into an art form. From hay rides to corn mazes, the pumpkin patch on Oahu brings together adventure, cultural experiences, and a taste for local life. All right, cool. So top pumpkin patches, we've got 2. Now we know there's 4, so we're probably going to branch this out to 4, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. What to bring, ideal time. So you'll notice this is actually more like an outline. This is not obviously not a full article. So what to bring, pack sunscreen, water, comfortable shoes, adventurous spirit, and a camera. That is probably not a full section there. Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take the article. I'm not going to take the title because I don't really care. And we're going to come over. Let's go to docs. All right, I'm going to pull up documents and we're going to go. Apparently, this is what it pulled up. New, and we're going to go new document. And we're going to go ahead and paste this in. Now we're going to have some formatting issues as it goes in. It's going to be the background color comes with. But what we're going to do okay, now notice, what was that keyword? So as we're looking at this, we are now doing marketing and we're creating a piece of content that is meeting the needs of our specification. So you'll notice pumpkin patch on Oahu was the keyword. Was a keyword here. Pumpkin patch Oahu and Oahu pumpkin patch. So let's see if those are relevant. Why a pumpkin patch adventure? Well, why don't we just make that a keyword and say Oahu? Why an Oahu pumpkin patch adventure? That makes sense. And it's keyword targeted now in the heading 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So heading 2s are centered. And actually, I'm going to share this with you. Sure. We'll do that. And I'm going to go to Sophie. Right, ClickMill. That's you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to add you to this. And we're going to crank out this article and have a fully done 2,000 plus word article by the time we end our call. And this is going to be your first review of AI prompt engineered content. All right. So if you're able to get into this, you can look at my screen. You can look at that. You could probably just look at this. But to that end, you can get into the article and I am going to center this. Okay, so header 2s are centered. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the next section. Okay, let me know when you get that pulled up. I'll give you a second. I need a snack.
Okay, I've got it open, thanks.
Okay, so you can look at my screen for now, but at some point I will be giving you some things to do as we go through. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to start spacing. Actually, ever wondered where to find a spectacular pumpkin patch on Oahu? Enter. That's, okay. This, well, and so we're going to actually be a little bit more conversational. I prefer this, but if so, you have come to the right place. Okay, this is your comprehensive guide to enjoying a remarkable adventure catering. Okay, see, this is a little bit, they're going to say this is your comprehensive guide to finding Oahu's, to finding the best pumpkin patches on Oahu. There we go. Now I did put on into the keyword, but we already have the keyword pumpkin patch on Oahu, so that's fine. Okay. My goodness. It never ends. Okay, the allure of pumpkin. Okay, so now what we're going to do, this is short. This is a very short section. So we're going to take this, we're going to come back over to Chat GPT right here. And I am just going to say, come to the bottom, there we go. I'm going to say expand. Oh, oh my gosh, expand this section. C-C-C-T-I-O. Oh my gosh, S-E-C-T-I-O-N. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to drop that section in there and it's going to blow it up. Okay, you'll notice it also just header 3'd the section, which is great. What's it say? It says pumpkin patches, often overlooked, are not merely fields of orange spheres waiting to be carved or baked. No, they're so much more. They offer an incredible mix of nature, adventure, and memorable moments. Imagine this, you're strolling. Okay, so now it is giving you the experience. But the experience is about more than just aesthetics. It's about the excitement that bubbles up within you and you spot that perfect pumpkin. You bring it home. Visiting a pumpkin patch isn't just about picking a pumpkin. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. They're not going to take a pumpkin home. They're tourists. This case, we're remembering our audience. This is not going to appeal to our audience at first glance here. So I want to say, please rewrite this section and appeal to tourists, T-O-U-R, tourists who want to visit a pumpkin, P-U-M, pumpkin patch during their trip to Oahu. They, for example, and I'm giving it examples of what I mean so it understands better. It actually understands. For example, they will not be taking pumpkins home because they do not live here. All right. So I said, do it again. Let's see what he says. The allure of pumpkin patches for tourists. So again, there's the quiet part out loud. We don't need to say that, but picking the perfect pumpkin to bring home may not seem like a traditional tourist attraction. There we go. Yet they're more than just a spot for locals to pick their future jack-o'-lanterns. They're a brilliant way to delve further into the heart of Oahu's vibrant community and enjoy a day steeped in nature and fun. Picture this, you're exploring the fields, a Hawaiian sun casting a lurid glow. Good, so now we're explaining the pumpkin patch experience to a tourist. While you may not be taking a pumpkin back home, see, they really remembered what I said there. The memories you create in these pumpkin patches will be your souvenirs. There we go. So now we are taking something home. That's pretty clever. Visiting a pumpkin patch on Oahu isn't merely an activity, it's an opportunity to engage with the island's culture, bask in its natural beauty, and make unforgettable memories. Okay, great. That is a workable section. Any questions about that so far?
No, but can you give me 2 seconds because I think that my Zoom has frozen
It did, yeah.
because I had to go. So if you don't mind, if I can go out and then come back. If
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
please be my guest.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you're still here and you're watching, I'm just going to have it expand the next section. Expand this section, pumpkin patches on Oahu. While Hawaii is commonly associated with its sun-kissed beaches and vibrant coral reefs, the island has much more to offer, especially when it comes to Oahu. The beautiful island, known as the heart of Hawaii, has transformed the traditional pumpkin patch experience into an art form that is engaged as it is unique. Oahu's pumpkin patches are more than just venue fall festivals. Cultural hub, hay rides, traditional activities harkens back to the rural roots of the island. Okay, so there's a interesting local flavor in them, presumably. Tractors, trundles, yeah. Let me know when you're back in.
Yeah, so I'm back. Thanks for that. I did have a question. So
Yes.
you're using that chat GP for articles and things.
Yes.
Do you not get penalized in any way in terms of
Great
ranking?
question. Yeah. So I actually put off using AI writing tools for a long time. Well, I don't know about a long time, but like maybe like 7, 8 months once I started realizing how often they were being used, because it seemed like Google was actually penalizing anything that wasn't authentically written by a person. However, Google came out about 6 months ago, 4 months ago, something like that, as of this video, obviously, and said that they were not going to penalize artificial intelligently created content. They said that the same methods that they use in their algorithm to judge content that's written by a person, the same was going to be used to judge AI content. So basically, what they've said is they're going for quality of content. And if you make the best content, you're going to rank number one. That's according to their algorithm. So they no longer, I don't know if they did prior, but this was my understanding. They no longer penalize our AI content. And so the goal, Sophie, right, is to write content that is the best content on the internet with or without the artificial intelligence. Okay. So there's two things that happen here. And I'll say this, a lot of people believe that the AI tool is going to eliminate marketers, or it's going to eliminate, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is supposedly can eliminate. I do not think that is true. The more I have worked with it, the more I believe it is going to make marketers even more essential. And I will tell you why. And this also goes to your question. In order to write an article by hand, you have to know how to write. You have to know how to organize an article. You have to know how to do the keyword research, and you have to know all of the SEO stuff you've been learning from like the Brian Dean videos, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want an article to rank on Google, you don't just write an article. You write an article for Google with search engine optimization strategies, and you write an article for people, and you organize the article in a way people want to engage in with Google. That, I mean, there's a level of technicality here that the reason why people get paid to write these types of articles online is because not everybody can write them. So with ChatGPT, for example, if someone who doesn't know how to write an article for the internet comes over and says, write me an article about pumpkin patches in Oahu, right? Well, it's going to write an article about pumpkin patches in Oahu, but it's not going to have any keywords. It's not going to write in a way that keeps people on the page. It's not going to put the mark down in the, like, there's a lot of specifics. It's not going to structure an article in the way that readers on the internet read. It's not going to keyword target it, so no one's going to find it anyway because it won't be on Google. So all of the things that we're teaching you about structuring an article, you have to know in order to make an article. And ChatGPT can output in an infinite number of ways. So in order to create an article, you have to have a marketer working with the AI. Okay. Now, initially, in order to create an article that'll rank on Google, you have to have a marketer who knows how to write and write well, and write well for Google and for people to engage them. Now you have to have a marketer who knows how to write well, maybe not write well as much, but they need to know how to write content, how to structure all the SEO stuff. And they need to understand Google's algorithm just like they did before. But now not only do they need to know how to do all of the first stuff, now they need to know how to prompt an artificial intelligence to get a good article out. And most people just go over to these AI tools and say, write me an article on pumpkin patches. And they just get some run of the mill generic garbage article on pumpkin patches. And, that's literally the prompt. Like when you come in here, you come up here, our prompt is very long because we want something very specific and we're giving it very specific instructions. We want it to talk in a certain way. We want it to talk to a certain audience. We want it to talk to them at a certain income level. We want it to use certain keywords at certain densities. This is a very highly customized article. Other people are not going to be able to generate this article because they don't know how to do this. They come in and they say, write me an article about pumpkin patches. Okay, it writes some generic article on pumpkin patches, and Google will see that as spam. It would see it as spam if a human wrote it or if an AI wrote it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so in relation to that,
Yes.
say many marketers are going for the same keywords.
Yes,
How then do you make it unique if you're using this?
that's great. So the idea, so for example, if I put in, write me an article titled Best Pumpkin Patches, and someone else went in and said, write me an article on best pumpkin patches, we're both probably going to get something. They're both going to be completely unique. Like, it's not going to just push out the exact same thing, but it will be ridiculously similar to the point where Google will go, those are basically worthless. Okay. How do we make it unique? Well, we've told it to give us 15 headings. We've told it to speak to a very specific audience. For example, how many articles are there on pumpkin patches on Oahu? Well, not very many, because the difficulty is 6. So part of the answer to your question is targeting the right keywords. I don't want to be competing with 500 other people writing this article. But to that end, how many of those pumpkin patches on Oahu articles are targeting tourists? Not very many. Our website targets tourists, so this is focused on tourists. So that makes it unique. Now, so targeting a specific audience makes it more unique. Targeting a specific keyword and LSI keywords makes it unique. But even further, to answer your question, we're not just taking the direct output of this and just publishing it. We're going through the whole article. And how do I say this? I am telling it to write the article and rewrite it until it is as if I wrote it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it would be like me having you write an article. Hey, I want you to go write an article on pumpkin patches on Oahu. Hey, I want you to have 15 headings. I want you to structure it like this. I want a Q&A at the end. These are all the ways I know how an article functions. And if you brought back to me something that was only 1,000 words and doesn't have a Q&A at the end, I would just be like, oh, okay. Hey, good try. Let's do the Q&A. Here's how I want you to do that. And so I'm bringing up the quality of your work until it's as if it's my work, right? And so that's the same thing with the AI. The AI is just a faster version of me, because I can have it work until it is on par with the level of quality that I would bring to the work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
Yes. And I guess to that, the question is, can someone else bring a piece of content into the world with the level of quality that I can? And that is a question of your skill, right? So I'm teaching you the knowledge on how to do that. Most people are not going to be able to do that because they don't understand all of the things required to have a quality piece of content on the internet that brings in traffic. Okay.
Yeah.
So what ultimately AI is going to come down to is, how creative are you? You're going to need to know how to be creative, because AI is only so creative. The other thing you're going to need to basically do is learn. If you can assess SEO, you can have it write very well in terms of SEO. But if you can't assess a good sales pitch because you don't know sales, well, you can't tell whether or not it's writing. It's your discernment is now the most valuable thing. So you need to learn all the different things that are relevant to your field. So if you're doing sales, sales pages, you need to know how to write sales copy. If you're doing blogs, you need to know how to write a really good blog, which means you got to have good grammar so you can screen for any occasional grammar things. You need to be able to know keywords and your audience, target audience. You need to know marketing strategy. So your ability to understand and assess its output is going to determine how good the output can be. And so if your ability to assess is greater than the next person's ability to assess, you're going to have better content. Okay. So
Yeah.
and maybe we'll do this after so you can see, but even this is very different. We'll actually go ahead and do this. Then let's say the average person who says, write me an article on pumpkin patches. Okay. So watch, we'll come in here, ChatGPT 4, same version, write me an article on pumpkin patches. Okay. It doesn't know I'm in a Wahoo. It doesn't know the keyword. It doesn't know densities. It doesn't know number of headings, yada, yada, yada. And we'll just see what it gives us. Something very vanilla. Oh, look at that. The magic of pumpkin patches. That's funny. Autumn's favorite tradition. See, it has nothing to do with Hawaii. I don't like using the titles anyway, but peek into history. All right, 5,500 years back. So this is super generic. This is just any pumpkin patch and history of any, just the history of this in general. We're talking about Native Americans here. Okay, significance of pumpkin patches. Okay, so they're talking about how it's a ritual in families and, it's a big family thing. Okay, they offer, it's a festival. They help local economies. And there's the end of the article. Okay. So this is a 600-word article, and this will not rank on Google. So, does this kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
It's very broad. It's speaking to anybody talking about any type of pumpkin patch, and it's not there's no Q&A. So we're not going to show up in the Google, what is it? The Google search. What am I saying? The little definitions that show up at the top of Google, those come out of the Q&A. Well, it doesn't have a Q&A, so you're not going to show up. It doesn't have, let's see. It doesn't have a question with a hook, which I really like in blogs because you're like, oh, yes, that's what I'm looking for. And it engages the reader. And that's in a lot of the trainings. I think that might even be in Brian Dean. It's not broken up. There's a number of things that aren't happening here, and it's very short. And so this is actually going to lead someone who's not trained in content creation to think you can have a 600-word blog. This will never rank for anything because 600-word blogs don't really rank anymore. So anyway, to that end, we're setting it up to give us basically a super long breakdown of the article, right? Which was this. This is basically our table of contents, this whole thing with basic notes on what we want it to write. Then we're going to go through and we're going to have it write every section, and we're going to look at those sections. And we already had it re-give us one section because it wasn't very good. And that is going to create a highly unique piece of content that nobody else is going to generate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the promptings that you give it and things like that, will
Yes.
there always be a template for us to be able to
use? The template. Yeah. And we're always testing new templates. We're probably going to change some soon, but to that end, all you got to do is come into ClickUp and ChatGPT prompts for the Hawaii website or for ClickMill, depending on what you're writing for. You just click in here and they're titled blog writing prompt. And here you go. And then the only thing you have to fill out is insert links, insert the focus keyword, insert the additional LSI keywords, and insert the keyword to start it writing. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and what's the insert links? What would go in there?
Yeah, so that is for interlinking the posts. So for example, if I want it to link to other pages on other pumpkin patches, or even better, other things to do in Oahu, then I would have it include those links. Now, right now, I'm just going through and I'm adding that myself. Just for its own sake, I'm just putting them in myself. Initially, we weren't doing that because we didn't have any articles live, but in the website right here, this would be considered, am I in there? Yes. Okay, this would be considered, this is pages. Let's go to posts. This would be in the categories considered attractions and activities. So I would want to interlink it within other attractions and activities. So I'm going to filter this and then find the most related posts. So I could just include these links and that's fine. But museums, maybe. Best caves, experience the rhythm of paradise, Oahu concerts, best North Shore, Oahu. Okay, so snorkeling, 8 best snorkeling spots on North Shore, best things to do in Waikiki. So I'm going to come through here and I'm going to pick out a few of these and I'm going to interlink and I'm going to say, oh, if you love this article, you'll also love 4 best Oahu bowling alleys. And then we're going to have that. 21, 24. Okay. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it
Yep.
does. Thank you.
Okay. And it will put those in if you word it correctly. It will put those in for you. I'm not really worried about that right now. I'm just trying to get the basics, and that takes a little bit longer to set up and to kind of, sometimes it doesn't output exactly the way I like. So we're just going to do it ourselves. Anyway, so pumpkin patches, Oahu, here we go. So we've got this. Now, top pumpkin patches, I'm going to leave this for last because what I'm actually going to do, well, here, maybe we'll just do it so you can see it. Ever wonder where to find a spectacular pumpkin? What am I doing? Okay, pumpkin patch on Oahu. That's the keyword. I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to come over here. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to Google Maps and I am going to, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to come to Maps. There we go, Maps. And I have another AI tool that I'm going to show you when we actually do this. And we're going to look at each of these and have it pull the text off of the page because right now ChatGPT's internet access is not working. They're fixing some things apparently. Anyway, so I'll show you how to do this next, but it's called harpa.ai and it uses an additional AI that can scrape the web and pull information off. So we're going to have Harpa AI, which links to ChatGPT. We're going to have it write about all 4 of these places. Then we're going to pull that back into our article, but we're going to do that last because I just want to get good at what we're doing right now. Okay, so pumpkin patches, Oahu, top pumpkin patches. So we're going to center this. Can you center the header 2 right here, top pumpkin patches?
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Great. And planning your visit, center that. Make your trip unforgettable. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get rid of plan your visit and I'm just going to make what to bring a header to. Actually, if you want to make what to bring a header to and ideal time to visit a header to, I am going to have it expand the what to bring section. So header 2, what to bring, and center that. And I'm going to come into here and I'm just going to say, expand this section. Okay, so now it's going to expand the what to bring section. Handy list, sunscreen, great. Water, good. So this is going to be a good what to bring section.
So Brett, I missed because my Zoom froze when you were asking. Is that what? Maybe I've just missed it again. When you were asking them to expand on a subject, so I missed what you were typing to the chat.
Oh, that's okay. So I literally just said what to, so the what to bring section, I copied it. It says what to bring. Sunscreen, water, comfortable shoes, adventurous spirit, and a camera. So I just said expand the section and I pasted that in. And now it's given me a whole section on this. Snacks, camera, hats, sunglasses, comfortable shoes, water, sunscreen, adventurous spirit. And so now we've got a whole section on what to bring. All right. And I'm going to come back over into the article and you've got it as a header 2. We're going to bold that and I'm going to come underneath and I'm going to paste in the actual section. Let's see, what do we have? Yeah, we're going to get rid of this one. And we're also going to do title case for all of our headings. So what to bring is all caps. We're going to bold the whole thing and we're going to center it like that. Okay, so all header 2s will look like that. And there we go. Ideal time to visit. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take this. I'm going to take this over to ChatGPT and use the same prompt and say, expand this section, paste it in, and it's going to start writing. And on the article, I'm going to come in and we're going to title case the font. Ideal time to visit. And I'm going to make sure it's bold and center it. And there we go. And then I'm going to paste in the text that ChatGPT outputs. It's still outputting. As October rolls around, Oahu pumpkin patches come alive, turning into vibrant something. It's not about the visuals, the month of October, activities, furthermore, weather. Okay. All right. October is the ideal time to visit, which is kind of hilarious because that's the only time to visit. Okay. Let me see. We're going to go back. Where'd the article go? There it is. Okay. And then I'm going to paste that part in. So you'll see I'm going to take that title out because we've already titled it. Now, one thing we want to do, are you looking at looking at my screen or your screen?
I'm looking at your screen.
Okay, so we're going to break this up into basically individual sentences. This helps readability when users are scrolling. That, nobody wants to look at a giant block of text. I mean, people don't read books. That's why they're on the internet. If they wanted to read a book, they'd buy a book. So they don't want to see this big screen just crammed full of text. It's called a text wall in marketing, and we don't want to have one. So we want to have lots of space in between our text that makes it feel lighter, easier to bear when we're reading. Not only that, when they start reading and they're scrolling down, they're going to scroll down more quickly than they realized they would. And that releases a lot of like dopamine and serotonin as their reward system is firing because they're like, oh man, I'm so smart. Look how much I'm reading. Look how fast I'm reading. It's also why we put the pictures in there as well. They don't have to be the perfect pictures. Like a picture of a pumpkin is fine. It gives them some context. It helps them to kind of grasp what they're reading visually, but it also lets them scroll even faster. So they're like, my goodness, I thought this article was long, but I'm going so fast. And that keeps them on the page longer. It keeps them active and more engaged. So we want to go through this whole article and break up all these sentences. And we'll probably finish this tomorrow because I do need to get ready for the next call. But we'll finish this training tomorrow and we'll finish this article and we'll go through the full posting process tomorrow as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Good. Do you have any questions here? Maybe any last couple questions or anything?
Just the last one that came to mind. Can you use that, like, would that system get images if you prompted it to, or does it not have that function?
I'm sorry, I'm not 100% sure what you were asking. Does it have what?
So if you use that chat GPT and asked it to include images, would it pull through images or is it just word-based only?
I'm sorry, did you say energies?
Images.
Oh, images.
Yeah,
Got it.
it's my
Sorry about
accent.
that. No, that's fine. Images, it cannot pull in images yet. There are AIs right now that can generate images, but it cannot create images right now. Sooner or later, that will absolutely be a function, a tool that it can do. And I really, really wouldn't be surprised if traditional graphic designers no longer have jobs. What you will have is you will have prompt engineers who generate images with AI. And it will take far less time and you'll just have to know what to tell it. I have been trying to learn the language around that because I don't know how to tell it. Like, what's the difference between a realistic image, a photorealistic image, and a hyper realistic image and a super hyper realistic image? I have no idea. But if I can communicate with a chat bot effectively, I can create the exact image I want every single time if I can tell it what I'm looking for. And that will be the future of graphic design. So to that end, it won't create them and it won't put them in, but no doubt that is coming in the near future. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.